video
Yeah,
later.
I have. Yeah,
All right. So
and we are live.
hopefully it's not showing live yet on YouTube, but I mean, yep, we are fucking live. Oh,
Okay, ladies and
I got it.
gentlemen, welcome to what you wish you could say.
Yeah, we are gonna have some fucking fun, and we're gonna talk about and say the shit that you are too fucking scared to say because you're afraid that you're gonna offend shit. Fuck you.
Yeah, we don't care about offending people here. Fuck that
No,
shit. Uh,
no.
this ain't a place for your soft ass feelings. So you better take them and go on somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. Because
We we discussed many things today. You know, just
so we decided to do a promptu video just so that we could put out what the fuck we're gonna be doing. I mean, what up, Juan?
hello, people. So like realistically, you're not gonna get just one specific type of video. We're gonna cover everything from politics to I can't talk. Politics,
Politics?
yeah, politics to entertainment to life advice to why the fucking sky is blue. I don't know. Just whatever we
Uh,
feel like.
yeah, I mean, shit. Life advice is if you're gonna hit somebody, make sure you hit them hard. Hey, fuck.
Don't add to the population, don't subtract to the population. And if you need bail money, make sure that, you call somebody responsible that's got bail money.
Yeah.
Shout out dad if you're watching.
So the fuck. I'm trying to fucking do something here, but it's not fucking working.
Well, tonight we're having to go live on Joe's channel just because I haven't used my actual What You Wish You Could Say channel in so long that it's like you need to request a live. So, but it's all right. Either one, whichever one we decide to go live on is the one we decide to go live on. So, you know.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get the fucking links so I can
Oh yeah.
uh
Joe is technical support. I am merely here for your entertainment.
yeah, well, Joe shouldn't be playing technical support either, so
Help.
god damn. Simple, like just fucking get my channel fucking shit so I can put it in a goddamn messenger. But no, gotta take me 1,500 fucking hours to do. So sorry.
It's all right.
I should have done this earlier, but hey, we fuck. And I
It's all
can't
right.
fucking type.
Like this is really just an impromptu thing, so everybody just bear with us.
We will get it. Oh,
Would Would you like me to introduce the topic of conversation this evening?
yeah, go right ahead, cause
Okay. So our topic of conversation, I was scrolling the interwebs earlier, and I come across this article by the Washington Post about the anti-DEI push for National Park Services to rewrite history of the Underground Railroad. And I was on the interwebs and I was talking to Joe about it earlier, and I was like, "Really? Really? We're gonna rewrite national history?" And it like wholeheartedly starts out with Harriet Tubman, and that she was the conductor of the railroad, and they've taken down her picture and put a whole bunch of other people's pictures up there. And this article is very heavily, Joe, you read it and you can agree with me if you want to. It's heavily whitewashed.
I've read part of it. I mean, but it is really, really whitewashed. I mean, like we was talking earlier, if they want to take fucking black out, put African American in there, then be all do it. But I mean, I just hope it doesn't get to the point to where we are just taking it completely out of our fucking history and never gonna fucking, you know, teach this shit again, because it is so
I
much
mean,
of our fucking history and what the fuck has made this fucking country.
not to show your age. When I was in school, like we didn't really focus on, like we focused on becoming America, right? Like coming over and quote unquote Columbus discovering America, which I know that that's not the case, but that's what I was told when I was in school, that Columbus discovered America. And then, we went from that to, dumping tea into the Boston Harbor and then straight into slavery. And there was a whole bunch of like historical events that happened in between all of that. And then we don't cover anything recently. And when I say recently, I mean within the last 100 years, right? The Vietnam War, Desert Storm. We cover a little bit of World War I, a little bit of World War II, and then you're done. There's no extension of all of that.
No, and I mean, look, I like I said, I am fine with them trying to make it more of a diverse thing to where it doesn't, I don't know, fucking offend some bitches, that whiny little fucking bitches of this generation. But this is the shit that this fucking country was brought up on. I mean, look where everybody looks at it as a fucking bad thing. Look at where in the fuck we're at. I mean, we have come from fucking slavery to now. Well, look, we still have slavery. We're slaves to the fucking government, each and every fucking one of us. So,
yeah,
I mean, but just look at where, as a country, we have fucking gone to, and hopefully now going back
and
towards some
even
of it.
In that, and because I've had extensive conversations with my dad about this stuff, and excuse me, my coffee's coming back on me. The difference between when he was in school versus when I was in school. So here in the South, if nobody knows, I'm from Tennessee. I'm Southern through and through.
Yeah, if you can't tell by her talking.
Yeah, by me talking, you can't tell. When I was in school, we prepared for tornadoes, right? And this is the most simplest example of what I can give. We prepared for tornadoes. So they would call a quote unquote tornado drill. We'd have to go out in the hallway, cover our heads, whatever. When my dad was in school, they had to prepare for nuclear war. Get under your desk. This is what's going to happen. And every day they lived in fear that, we live near nuclear or Oak Ridge Nuclear Laboratory. So if something, God forbid, happens to that, we are toasty toast. Okay.
Yeah. Now see, all right, because you live in the South. Oh, hold it. Are you still? Oh, fucking stream's behind. Okay, never mind. I was off. But okay,
yeah,
so
sorry, Juan. My neighbor's dogs are barking.
Because you live in the South and you're close to nuclear plant, I could see them fucking doing that. Now, I am around the same age as your dad. We all know this. I'm no fuck. Your dad's a little older, but we because I'm in the Midwest, we don't have to worry about nuclear plants around. When I was in school, it was tornado drill. Get in the
Hmm.
hallway, put your head between your knees, kiss your ass goodbye. Oh, and we're having pizza for lunch.
Yeah.
That was what we got. Seriously, and it's like now, look now they don't even do tornado drills in schools half the damn time anymore.
The, so, and we will bring this back to the original
Oh,
topic, but who has a Midwestern perspective? Okay, because you've lived in the Midwest your entire life.
yep,
I lived
girl.
in Connecticut for a little while, like up north, and I've lived in the South most of my life. And just in that, there was a huge cultural divide. Like when I moved up north, there was a huge like, and this is gonna sound really bad, but I didn't like actually know any real black people or African American people or Mexican people because the town that I grew up in was predominantly white. So when I moved up north, I had to learn a different way to speak to people. I had to learn how to accept different things as opposed to where most of that stuff wasn't acceptable. There were no other cultures in my school besides white people.
See,
So we didn't really observe things like Black History Month. Down here, that's not really a thing unless you're in Alabama or Mississippi or Georgia. Black History Month up here is like you get maybe 2 days of it and then they move on to something else. And I think that's where we're losing a lot of our younger generation and the people that come after me because it's hard to get out of these small towns because your family's there. Your family has put roots there for generations. And you're being raised by boomers and older things that have this mentality that white is right. And it's not always right. I'm sorry. It's going to piss a lot of people off, but just because I am Pasty and Casper, the ghost friendly cousin, doesn't mean that I support what the other white people are doing.
see, here's the problem, and this is where this is where the world got fucked up, or at least our country got fucked up. We got on a subject earlier today that we're going to hit on in future broadcasts, but uh, government has way too much fucking control over what the fuck goes on. I mean,
Yeah.
let's look at it.
100%.
Just schools. You can't wear a shirt with the fucking cross on it, but yet you're supposed to have freedom of speech. You can't get a book that talks about sex or has a sex scene in it in a school library, let alone harder than hell in a public library anymore, because it made somebody mad or upset because it talked about sex. I got news for you. I grew up on fuck around, find out, get your ass whooped. And
now,
you know what?
Speaking,
I'm a productive person and like fucking I work my ass off.
speaking of, telling you what you can read and stuff, and I had just remembered this because they had just passed it a couple of months ago. December, I think.
Okay, hold on. We got to take a pause here because
The
I
Knox
just got to put
County,
this out
Tennessee
here.
is where I live. And
Her internet sucks, just so everybody knows.
they had just put out.
Okay, you are roboting like a motherfucker.
Better? I can't hear you.
Well, why
Oh,
can't
I'm
you
sorry.
hear
I've
me?
got good Wi-Fi.
Well, you roboting like some bitch. Am I talking?
Oh, now I can hear you.
Can you still hear me now?
Am I better now?
Well,
Yeah.
let's see. All right. So
Hello.
they passed the law. Can you not hear me
So yeah,
still?
I can hear you. I got you.
Okay. Okay.
So Knox County, Tennessee is where I live. And they had just put out in December the 48 titles of books that they have banned in schools.
Yeah.
And I mean it was like I'm gonna look it up on my phone so my computer stops doing stupid things. Um and
I
I
know what
was like I was going through this with my spouse and he was like, "Really? That book's banned? Really?" One of the biggest ones that I had an issue with, and I think everybody's seen it. They turned it into a Netflix series. It's 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there was originally a book written about 13 Reasons Why. And to be 100% honest with you, at any age, we need to be discussing mental health. Okay. We need to be discussing all of it. And it's not about, oh, well, I feel offended or anything like that. No, serious as somebody that has a mentally ill mother and who is mentally ill myself, we need to have that conversation.
Yeah. I just look. I ain't gonna disagree on that note. At least a little bit. I see. That's the stuff that should be fucking talked about. Now, look. When I grew up, when your dad grew up, no, that wasn't talked about. That wasn't dealt with. You rubbed some dirt on a cut and you went to fuck on your way. But
Um,
the problem is it wouldn't be so bad if look and here we're gonna really piss people off if these weren't invented.
yeah, yeah.
If
Now,
these weren't so easily in everybody's fucking face, you wouldn't have so many people that's depressed sitting in a fucking house all the damn time.
there are a few books
And your internet's doing it
on
again.
this list that better.
No. Let me look.
Is it me? I've got full bars, so
Let me see something here. That's not what I want.
sorry to the people who are watching.
Let me turn this shit. Hey, there we go. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Let's just run a speed test and see what the fuck's going on, because
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's just you keep pausing. Maybe it's StreamYard's causing it. I don't know. Well,
Yeah, I've got good internet, so
I didn't say mine. Yeah, mine's running good too. So, yeah, well, hey, you know what? It pauses. It pauses. I don't fuck. Who cares?
Okay. I'm gonna read an excerpt from this article, and it says the Southern Poverty Law Center identifies Moms for Libraries. It's a group as a far right organization that engages in inclusion activities that opposes the LGBTQ plus ABC 123 and racially inclusive curricula. It has also advocated for book bans and created a list of books that considers explicit. Quote, Years ago, we would have never allowed children to have content that is graphic and that explicit. And I don't know how to be honest. I don't know what changes, unquote. And there are some books on this list that I agree that children don't need to be reading. Okay. Um, Alice Through the Looking Glass. I think that's perfectly acceptable for anybody in high school above. Okay. And most of these books that I have read. Another book would be Mrs. Pettigrew's Home for Peculiar Children. Why are we banning this book?
Yeah,
I've seen the movie. I've read the book. Because it teaches children that this government official group says that Mrs. Pettigrew's Home for the Peculiar Children teaches children that it is okay to be different and unique. And that is not what we want. It is not following God's law to be different and unique.
But it is. Because God created man and woman in his own creation. So therefore, to be unique and different is what God created you to be.
Now, one of the books that I don't agree with that is on this list, I don't agree that this should be available for children, is Gender Queer. Okay, that's the title of the book. I don't agree with that. I don't think that children should be able to read that. I don't think there should be access to that. But
okay, hold on. We're gonna pause right there because look, and I do say this in case she does watch this at a later date. Kelly Kell, I love you.
Listen, but we do not have a problem with anybody the way that they choose to live their life. We are speaking specifically about children.
Well, okay, so
I'm speaking about children. I don't know about
you're going to speak about children here. I'm going to be a little bit more vague with the shit because I don't give a shit if you a guy and you like guys, girls like girls. You fuck girl want to be a guy want to be a girl. I don't give a flying rat's ass what the fuck you want to be, but stop and don't push it down my fucking throat because that shit will get you knocked the fuck out. And we got to have gender fucking neutral bathrooms in schools. So kids.
When I was in school, we called that the handicap stall.
No. See, so kids can be themselves and go to the bathroom. If a girl wants to go in and pee in a urinal, she can.
I don't advise that. That's really hard to do. Just say it.
Which any drunk girl over 21 has found out. I just gotta say it, but
you gotta go. I mean,
when and why, if we find that, if they're gonna say that teaching a child or a book that teaches a child to be unique and different is unacceptable. But it's okay to have classes that teach your kid that if you are a female and you want to become a male, you can do that in school and allow that.
There are 48 books on this list, okay? Now, I'm going to break it down to you about what was in each level. So there were 5 of those books on elementary shelves. Okay, 5. Sorry, the dogs.
Hey, it's life.
8 of them were on middle school shelves. And the remaining 35 were on high school shelves. Books like You, A Teenager's Guide to Growing Up. And it's a book. I literally looked this book up because I was like, that sounds familiar. Because when I was growing up, that we had books like that it wouldn't graphically, but it would teach you kind of what your body's going through. And they banned that one because they don't want people to be educated. Why don't we want to be educated about our own body? Okay, it wasn't
see,
telling you to be great,
look, back when I was in
gay,
school,
or queer.
that was called sex ed when I went back to school, or when I was in school. I mean, come on, sex ed was allowed in junior high because that was around the time that you go through your changes. So, sex ed was fucking, that was the whole point, was teaching you about the changes your body's going to go through, teaching you what the fuck, you need to be doing.
I had health class. Now, health class wasn't, they didn't divide up the boys and girls to say, hey, look, this is what your body's going to go through or anything like that. They didn't do that. Okay. It was literally like that. This is how you don't be fat. And then we'd have to go out and like run a mile. And like, it was basically a sit down gym class with 31-year-old female. There are things about my body that I still don't know, how function, because I was never taught, right? I was never taught those things. And it's embarrassing to say, and I really don't give a fuck. But I started having babies at 17. I didn't know anything about having babies. I knew what to do after they were born, but I didn't know the whole process your body goes through after that baby, like while you were growing that baby, that it takes the calcium from your teeth, that it takes the calcium from your bones. And they wonder why so many young parents and parents under the age of 18, from 18 to 25, why are they on food stamps, why they're on WIC. Now, these programs are not bad. I'm not downing these programs whatsoever. But most of those people are not high school graduates. I have a trade. I know how to work a trade. But once you decide, hey, I'm going to have a baby or be pregnant in high school or whatever, they don't expect you to finish those things. The government doesn't expect you to make something out of yourself. And that's what keeps these programs going. That's why there's so many people on food stamps, cash assistance, housing, all this stuff, because the government wants you to do that. They want teen moms.
Okay, hold on. Now, so a little background. I am disabled, or I am working to get off of disability, but part of being that, you have food stamps. You're able to get food stamps. The thing that gets me is they make it so easy to get food stamps that it makes it to where people just don't want to work. I mean, look, if you can sit at home, collect a check, collect food stamps, get your bills paid, because government offers all this shit. As of right now, I mean, that's all supposed to change, but where's the fucking incentive to go to work? I mean, honestly, where is the fucking incentive to go to work? If you can sit at home and get fucking a check and food stamps and health care, and your whole fucking shit is paid for, and you ain't got to lift a damn finger to fucking do it.
Well, the thing is, though, is like, it is government assistance. It's supposed to assist you to get back on your feet. And there are people that take advantage of that.
Lots. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that take advantage of that.
Exactly. Now, I am 31 years old. And the people in the chat that actually know me and have had a conversation and know my story, and I'll go into my story. I was in an industrial accident. Fucked. Okay. My right arm, fucked. Now I have to have hearing aids because
kind of like your internet
circumstances that I'm not willing to get into here. Yeah, for the public. I think it's StreamYard, to be honest.
I think so.
And Joe and I have been talking privately about this, and I have been going back and forth for years with my dad, and now with Joe, and now in my brain about getting on disability. Because let's be honest, my body's fucked, okay? And not in the good way, people, not in the good way. I don't want to draw a check. I really don't. But because I put my body through so much when I do work, it makes it hard for me to work. Somebody like Joe that's trying to get off of disability, that's trying to be a working class member of society, it's going to be hard for him to do that too. That comes with a whole separate challenge.
Oh yeah. Oh, hold on. We gonna add to that challenge by the whole fact that I'm a dumbass and a retard, and yes, I'll call myself that. I don't have a GED, so I'm trying to go back and get my GED.
I don't have a GED. I don't have a high school diploma. For me, personally, and this is not everybody, I don't think you need it. If you know how to do a trade,
I thought that
I don't think
for
you
the
need
longest
it.
time. I thought
my
that for the
spouse.
longest time, but as I'm looking now, look, I have 3 obstacles against me right now. 2 of them I can overcome. One is my work history. Well, that's easily overcome. I've been on disability for the last fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
No license. That's pay fines off or get my license back. Working on that. I can work around them and get a job doing something that doesn't require both of them. But unfortunately, every goddamn job, even McDonald's, and we are not going to get started on that because requires a fucking GED.
Now, the caveat to that is you haven't been working for the last 10 years, right? Now, if I don't have a driver's license, I can go out here and get any job that I want to. Or I don't have a GED. I don't have a high school diploma. I don't have a GED. I don't have any of that. But I can still go out and get whatever job I need to because I have the work experience. Most jobs will outweigh your work experience versus a GED. If you have the work experience and you have the history for it, they will make an I know plastics. I have worked in every form of plastics you can think of, from molding guns to molding car parts to molding things you use every single day in your house. It doesn't matter. I have 11 years of experience in that. So that outweighs the fact that I don't have a high school diploma. Yes. Does it limit me in the fact that I'm not probably going to be able to go any higher than but it doesn't, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be responsible for that many people. Okay. I'm barely responsible for myself. Like,
well,
let's be for real.
Well, see, but anymore, hey, this is what gets me. And I said we wasn't gonna go here, but fuck it, we are way off topic and doing whatever the fuck we want anyway. So we're just
the government still, plays a role.
Yeah, we're still with the government shit. But you tell me, you need a GED to work at McDonald's?
But you want $15 an hour to make my cheeseburger with no pickle.
Oh, but let's add on to that. To make your cheeseburger with no pickle, and then you go and pay with cash and give bill comes up to $501, you give them $1501, they try to give you $20 back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They can't count fucking change. They can't tell fucking time unless it's a fucking digital readout.
Okay. So I'm not going to get too personal with names or anything with this, but I have a minor that comes and stays with us on the weekend. Joe knows who I'm talking about. And he is in high school. Okay. And I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but I mean, I have to a little bit. And I was telling my spouse about it earlier. So I didn't tell you, Joe, this, but you're going to laugh. He went to go make popcorn last night. And instead of asking me, who's sitting in the living room, not even 15 feet away from him, how long do I put the popcorn in the microwave for? Or hitting the button on the microwave that said popcorn. He just kept hitting the 30-second. Like, it would run down 30 seconds and beep, and then hit it for another 30 seconds and then beep, and then... Okay, he has no life skills. He can't read cursive. Like, people don't even know how to write a check anymore. How do you not know how to write a check or balance a checkbook?
Okay, but see, now here, that begs the question. Who do you blame?
I blame the schools and the parents. Because, okay, and this is why. And I know I'm going to get some flack for this, but whatever. This is what we're here to do. The parents say that the school is responsible for A, B, C, and D, right? Well, the school says the parents are responsible for A, B, C, and D, but nobody's communicating with each other. Your kid don't know how to wipe his own ass, you blame the daycare. He doesn't know how to shower properly. You should have been taught that at school. Like, no.
Society now is everybody else raise everybody, and then we want to bitch because, you know, they're not being raised properly. Well, look, I don't give a shit. If you're a fucking parent, you teach your child what that child is going to need to be successful in life. Whether that's how to go take a fucking shit and wipe your own goddamn ass, to, hey, you gotta be in bed at 9 o'clock. The little hand on the 9, the big one on the 0.
The 12, Joe. The 12. It's the 12.
Well, whatever.
Exhibit A,
0.
people. Exhibit A.
No, that's because I'm retarded. Let's get that right. I'm retarded.
Okay. I was raised by a single dad. We all know this, okay? Everybody that knows me knows that my dad is my best friend. I was raised by a single dad, okay? Like, he had to explain to me how my own body works that time of the month. Like, and it was a very awkward thing, okay? But...
Now, see, okay, now look. In instances like that, okay, that's kind of where I would put school at fault, because they should teach us stuff like they did when I was growing up, where it was sex ed. And no, they didn't split them up, you know, guys and girls. You just kind of got taught what each gender went through, but you got taught it.
Well,
so you didn't have a father sitting at home trying to explain to his daughter why in the hell she is Satan's kid and gonna bleed for a week every month for the rest of her fucking life, and nobody can say why exactly she's going to be doing this, but it's only a female that does this because a male does.
Demon baby. Anyway, listen, like, props to my dad, 100%. Like, he raised me to be the amazing human that you see before you. Now, there are things that he taught me that even after I went to go, because I did live with my mother for a little bit, even after I went to go live with my mother, that she didn't approve of. Like, you know, the basics of it is if you don't have a job, you don't have nothing. If you don't have a vehicle, you don't have nothing, right? And in this lifetime, all we have is what we have around us. Like, let's be for real. You can love somebody until their dying day, but the fact of the matter is they're going to die. Now, if you have a house or an apartment or whatever, you have to work like
Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. Wow, it's really taking a long time this time. We are going to have to upgrade StreamYards.
like for real, or find something else.
Yeah.
Because my whole screen just went black and was doing a little thingy. But the fact of the matter is like, any teenager now, and when I say teenager, I mean 19 and below, okay? Because at 19, you're still technically a teenager. I would not trust to send them out in the world to do anything that I can do. Even though I'm 31 years old, I still have more gumption in my little pinky toe than most of these people have. Hubby works every day. He went to college. He's a high school graduate. He works a blue collar job. Okay. He gets his hands dirty. He does everything. He does all that. And not dying, we're surviving, but we know that it's going to get better. Every day that we get up to go to work, it goes better. The schools say, you know, hey, this is the parents' responsibility to do this. In my opinion, anything that goes on in your house, anything that you have to do on a daily basis inside of your house is your parents' responsibility. Taking a shower, learning how to make microwave popcorn properly, learning, you know, how to cook and clean for yourself and bathe yourself and take care of your animals and all that stuff. That's a parent's responsibility. Anything you need to function outside in the world, like algebra and, you know, knowing your proper American history and like that kind of thing, that belongs in the school. Religion don't belong in, I'm sorry. Religion does not belong in the school. Okay.
Well, okay. So while religion shouldn't be taught in school, you also should still have your freedoms to be able to express yourself. If you want to wear a shirt with a cross on it that says Jesus fucking lives, you should more than be able to do that.
Okay. I think I misspoke.
I understand I understand what you're saying, you know, and I believe I agree with you. Religion should not be in school, but there's got to be a line there of what you consider religion and what is part of just the U.S. culture.
So faith, right? Like here in the South, I think I was in middle school, just starting middle school, when they finally took prayer out of school. Like every single day after the Pledge of Allegiance, after the morning announcements. I live in the Bible Belt of the South. Okay. So like Methodist, Crystal Methodist and regular Methodist, Lutheran, Baptist, Southern Baptist, all that stuff. That's very prominent down here. Now, they don't believe that you should worship anything else. Okay. I'm Norse pagan. I will proudly admit it. I wear my Mjolnir. I do all that stuff. They consider it witchcraft. I can't talk. Apparently too much coffee today.
Too much witchcraft today.
Yeah. And yeah, because that's what my cup says. But anyway, I believe that there should be a world religious class, not where anybody like does, you know, whatever, but we need to learn about them. We need to learn that other people come from different things. You know?
Okay, so all right. Wow. I don't agree.
You don't think we should have at least in high school, have a world religion class where you learn?
No, I don't.
Interesting.
Here's why. All right, look. I don't care what religion you are, Christian, Baptist, Methodist. I don't give a flying fuck. You show me a Bible between all of them that says the same fucking words in it.
Fair.
You show me a church between them different ones that's going to preach about the same damn thing clear across the board.
But
we already are supposed to have in
school. They teach them in class.
But history, geography, all this shit is supposed to teach you about other places, other cultures. They have fucking life skills or something, where it is nothing but teaching you about other cultures.
See, okay, and that's what pisses me off. It's called life skills. Why the fuck do I need to know about other cultures and life skills? Life skills should be about learning how to boil water without burning your ramen noodles, how to properly do a load of laundry,
how to write a check, how to count change. Look, The
Things that
when
you
I
need in
say
your life to function.
when I say government got in the fucking way too much, look, when I grew up, you fucked up, you got your ass whooped. You either A, took the ass whooping and, you know, learned your fucking lesson, or you did it again and got your ass whooped again.
Listen,
There was none of this, if your mom or dad swat you on your ass, you call 911 because that's the parent of you. No, fuck that. Ask my son. They tried teaching him that in school. I said, you go right ahead, call. Matter
go
of fact,
ahead.
I'll pick up the phone and call them for your ass. Because
I
when
will.
they get here
Great
and my
Medea
ass
once
gets whooped
said,
back out of jail, I'm going to whoop it again.
as the great Medea said, go ahead, dial 911. I will beat your ass till they get here.
And now you've got government saying that a parent can't fucking do this in their own fucking house. Now, look, do I
There's
think
a
it's
fine
right?
line between discipline and child abuse.
Yes.
It's a fine, like a fine fucking line.
But, okay, look, that line on child abuse is, and this was told to me years ago by fucking a cop. That line on child abuse is if you whoop your child's ass and leave a bruise, get you for child abuse. You whoop your child's ass and don't leave a fucking bruise or mark, that ain't shit they can do. That ain't shit they're gonna do. But I'm not saying that you get your ass whooped to the point of child abuse. But look, I'll go stare at a goddamn corner for fucking 3 hours. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna go right back and do what the fuck I want because I didn't learn shit.
Hmm.
I'm in pain. I'm learning shit. It's just the way it is.
The famous words of my father were, if you think you big enough, go ahead, we'll step out in the yard.
I've done the same thing. Like, look, my son will tell you. Hell, my ex will tell you, and my daughter will tell you.
I am
My son thought
31 years old. My daddy will still beat my ass.
my son thought it was his time to step up, and dad didn't back down. We fucking all over the fuck backyard on top of fuck cars and everything else. But you know what? That kid has more respect for me, and I have more respect for that kid, and it shows
And that's
in
the
what he
thing.
does and how he acts to people.
Everybody's preaching, oh, respect. You got to respect my feelings. You got to respect this. Okay. Now, this I have a very fucked up. I'm going to explain it the best way I can. You are a human. I am a human. If I didn't know you, I'm still going to treat you on a base level as a fellow breathing meat sack. Okay. You give what you get, or you get what you give.
Either
So
way,
if you come at me and you're like, hey, you're a fucking cunt, then I'm going to be like, you ready to go, motherfucker? Because we're going to fight. Like,
but that's the thing. It's not there anymore. Everybody's wondering what the fuck's wrong. It's staring you dead in the face. Take back the fucking control in your own goddamn household. Quit letting everybody else fucking raise your kids.
if I call my dad or I'm having a conversation with him and I'm whatever, and he'll look at me and be like, why are you being a bitch? I'm sorry, I didn't know I was being a fucking bitch. We might have a little bit of argument about it, and then we've been done. Like, that's it. People have forgotten how to get punched in the face.
People have forgotten people have forgotten fucking what sarcasm is. People have forgotten how to interact and talk and just not get so butthurt over every little thing. Look, not mentioning any names. Now, you know who I'm talking about. I have a friend that I made here in Missouri. We talk all the time. But it amazes her on how I interact with All my other friends and family here in Missouri.
If you want to talk to me, I'll talk to you. Don't worry. I don't care if you're a stranger, but there's a line.
Well, no, you know what I mean by
Yeah.
interacting with the assholes that I interact with around here. I mean, even the asshole upstairs. I'm sitting here
Listen,
calling them all
we love us.
assholes.
He's
I,
probably watching this right now, going, "Joe, you fucking dick."
probably. No, look, I know he's not watching because there's not a corn cob fucking comment in the fucking comments. So I
Well,
know
he's
that
gonna
he's
pop
not
up
watching.
from the blanket behind you and be like, "Bitch."
He probably would. He knows I got my headphones on, so I can't even hear him come down the damn stairs.
No,
But
but I'm gonna
no,
see him.
but it's like I laugh. I laughed at it, and it wasn't that she was like awe and shock. It was just like she'd never been around people that interact like that. So, she always questioned on why in the fuck I act like I do or talk the way I am, or, that's because that's who I hang around with. That's the people I hang around with. The same ones that have interests like mine, the same ones that act, that aren't afraid to fucking tell you, hey, you're a fuckhead. You're being a bitch. You're being an ass. Shut the fuck up and quit being stupid. They don't care if they hurt my
And I may not
feelings.
get all the details. I may not get all the details to this correctly, but so my dad was, and he might have posted this on TikTok. If you're in here and you know my dad, he's got a TikTok and he's kind of TikTok famous by his own mind. But I think he was on the phone telling me this story about how he went into a truck stop and there was a line of people, but there was like 4 or 5 people behind the counter just standing there fucking bullshit, not doing their job. The guy in front of him was an older truck driver. Like he was older. Probably 60s, maybe 70s. And he just had a cup of coffee, so he was going to go up and pay for his cup of coffee. And the guy behind the counter looked at him and said, "You got to use the kiosk. You just got one thing. You got to use the kiosk." How to use the kiosk? And he just said, "Fuck it," and walked out with his cup of coffee. And the dude behind the counter is laughing because, and he's like, "I knew this old fuck wouldn't be able to do that." Blah 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 blah. And Dad was standing up at the counter, and he just laid into this dude. Like there's no respect whatsoever.
No, but you disrespect him, and he's gonna whine like a little baby and call cops and everything else because his feelings were hurt.
Exactly.
Look,
What happened to the days when and even at school, like the teachers are under so much scrutiny, so afraid of losing. My Discord's going off for Goat's Discord.
yeah, it's going
on. Because they're afraid to lose their jobs, because if they say something wrong to the child or the parent, they're going to lose their government contract and not be able to work. But I had an English teacher that couldn't get control of his class because I lived in Connecticut and I went to literally a ghetto school. I'm going to be quite honest. The white people were the minority there, okay? And he got so pissed off, he slammed his book down on the table and scared the shit out of all of us. Not one parent complained.
Look, I had a gym teacher in elementary school that if I fucked off, she'd come up and tell me, "You quit fucking up." And I just keep doing it. All she did was make a phone call. She called my mom because she knew my parents. Now I still have her on. I have my old elementary gym teacher on my Facebook page. Talk to her every damn day. You know why? Because they weren't afraid back then. They didn't have a reason to be afraid. They were teaching what needed to be taught. They were doing it with every resource that they had, but it was common sense. It was, nowadays, I'd hate to be in school. I saw how they do math, basic fucking math.
Oh my god. Dude, okay, so I'm gonna tell you right now because I went to try to go get my GED. You gotta learn to get your GED. You gotta learn that math.
Look, oh yeah, GD. Look, my friend, I have tried the GED 5 or 6 different times. Now, granted, it was all back when I was doing math and fucking, and can't pass it. The part I can't pass, math. So I have friends, and family that's going to be helping me. But the one thing that just fucking rang out before I ever started it, and just rang again, was my friend tells me the math is not that hard. It's reading the questions, understanding how they put the question.
Does 2 plus 2 still equal 4, or do we equal fish now?
Well, it's like, okay, Stan has 2 and Smojo has 2, and they want to combine them, but it's a fucking story. It's like you get lost trying to get the fucking math problem because the entire fucking story they want you for a question.
Yeah. Sam has 6 apples. Alyssa has, 7 apples. What color was Sam's shirt last Thursday? The fuck?
It's like I looked at my grandson and I told him, I'm like, I can't help you, Matt, because I don't read.
So when I
Math.
went to go
When did math
attempt the
become
GED,
fucking? When did math become English?
I don't know. When I went to attempt to take the GED, because they test you. Sorry, my folding chair is like really uncomfortable. They test you on like everything, right? Math, English, science, all that stuff. The only thing I couldn't pass was science because they don't offer tutoring or anything like that for science because you can't like do a science experiment in the kind of thing. And that's like really what deterred me from taking it was because I knew that like to pass 70 or above, at least here. I scored like a 60 something in the science pretest, but I needed help with it. But there's no help available. I can pass the math, I can pass the reading with flying colors because we all know I'm a bookworm and understand all that stuff. But it was the science. And I was like, dude, I took biology and I did none of it because I don't pay no attention to science. I mean, and especially down here, science is not something that is a
Don't say
top
science.
subject.
Oh no, hold it. Now science is a top subject down there. It's just not the science in school that they're being taught. Look, it takes science to control all them meth labs down there.
Yes, but now they don't teach you like evolution when I was in school was not a big subject. It was kind of just like a 1-day thing. Like, and they teach you with tadpole. The frog does this, and then it's a tadpole, and then it grows and it becomes a frog. The cycle of life thing, it's big down here, but it's not. Like, because Christianity is so big down here that, God created you want the ultimate debate. And I blame the government for that because it's proven. And I'm not saying religion isn't proven. Okay. I'm not saying that, God isn't real. You believe what you believe. I believe what I believe, whatever. But that has no place in science because science is based on fact. It's not based. Science is what you can prove.
Yep.
Just like math. Math is what you can prove. 2 plus 2 will always equal 4, no matter what.
18. But, I mean.
Yeah. 7. The answer is always 7.
Yeah. No, it's just. Look, where you're at, yes, you're in fucking Bible territory, that's where it's different. Where I'm at, yeah, you got churches everywhere, but it's not really, really big. But at the same time, you have two sides. Okay, look, you either have the science side or you have the faith side. Now, science is all about facts, faith is all about believing. The problem is they tell you that you have these two sides, but now I'm gonna tell you, I got a question for you. If you're doing an experiment and say you fuck up, you know that if you fuck up just one little thing could cause an explosion.
Hmm.
Do you got faith that you're not gonna fuck up? We talk about fine lines on shit. Where's that fine line between faith and facts? I mean, because look, you can have faith and still have the facts.
Yes.
You can have the facts, still have the faith. But why is it that government, religion, because wants to get you to pick a side? Why do you have to pick a side?
If you're looking at the grand scheme of things, like the big picture, it's all about money. Because if you've got, okay, say I think the sky is red, right? And you think the sky is blue. We're going to fight over that. We're going to have an argument. There's going to be on your side. And then it's just going to generate money to fund the government for them to fund things like, why do ducks quack? Or what certain listen, I've been looking at the whole Doge shit, and it's hilarious.
Oh, look,
okay, like I don't.
Girl, we ain't got the time to be starting on that one, but we
No.
will be. Listen. For anybody that's watching this or does watch this is the shit that you're gonna get with us because yes, we are going to dig into Trump and Dodge and and give you what the fuck we think. And I'm not sure a lot of you are gonna fucking like what the hell I have to say on it. And I know they ain't gonna like some of the shit that you got to say.
So, okay, I'm going to be like 100% with everybody here because that's what this channel is about. This is what you wish you could say is about. And this is why I wanted to start it, was being able to say the things that everybody else is thinking. I do not politic like everybody else, okay? When I go to vote and I go to do quote unquote government thing, I look at as many facts as I can. Okay. I like this person because X, Y, and Z. I am a Donald Trump supporter, but I do not agree with everything that this man is doing. Okay. There are points that I agree with and there's points that I don't agree with. It's like music. And this is the best, like, example that, and I have had this conversation with my dad, and this is the example he gave me. So I don't know if anybody knows who Ryan Upchurch is. Ryan Upchurch he started on YouTube. He's a YouTube singer, basically. And he started his own record label, and he's gotten into some shit lately and gone off. He's nutso crazy.
Yeah, he's went off the deep end lately, yes.
Yes. Okay. I like music, okay, because it speaks to the life that I live and the way that I grew up, and it speaks basically about my life. The things that he does outside of the music, I don't agree with. I don't watch for entertainment. I don't do any of that.
Okay.
So you can have to like the person.
On that, I'm the same way. Look, I will vote on whatever president is going to be doing, all right, look, I have a little bit of a bad view on things, but this is how I view politics. And this is why I am so excited for this 4 years. Is I don't care what president, Democrat, Republican, fucking independent. I don't care. If you have a president that only runs one term, that president is going to do what they, campaign on, which
What
is
they
going
feel
to,
they need to do for the country.
yes. Now, you get a president that gets a second term that has no fucks because you can't get a third term. Well, not supposed to. Well, there's, yeah, we'll dig into that later. Uh, but you get a second term, that president doesn't give a fuck what his campaign's all about. That president is going to do what that president has in his mind and what he wants to do because he doesn't have to worry about being reelected.
Yes.
Now, we'll go back. I mean, you can go back in history, which, once again, they don't teach very much of, but go back. Obama. Okay, we've got the Republican. We've got Trump. His first term, did what he said he was going to do. Fought for the country. His second term,
Yes, but then he was
it
shut
is
down
going
by
to be what he
COVID.
wants.
So I mean,
Yeah, his second term, I'm really interested and really excited to see what the fuck he does because he has taken politics out of it. He has taken all politicians. There is not a politician one on his fucking cabinet. They have all been either businessmen or along that lines.
well, speaking of that, JD Vance, right? Like Dad and I had this conversation. JD Vance is one of us. He grew up, his mama was a drug addict, and he grew up poor in the working class and all this other shit. So he knows what the fellow Americans are doing. And I mean, Donald Trump is privileged because his daddy had money, he had money, but he understands that America is a business. We are a country. We are a business. We have imports. We have exports. We have people that work for those imports and those exports. Without the people, there are no import exports. There is no money.
Yeah. Now, see, because we'll cover this in the future one, I'm going to divert us from it because we'll get off on this topic and we're already 16 minutes over. So, no, you look at Obama, okay? What did he do in his second term?
I don't remember.
He took down prominent statues. Prominent statues all around you. I mean, a lot of that he done was in the South. He took down prominent statues, damn near made it fucking illegal to burn other people's flags, but be able to burn ours. He did, and there's several you can go back and look, several articles on it to where you could live in America and live in an apartment building and everybody around you could fly their fucking Brazil flags, fucking Jamaica flag, whatever fuck flag they wanted, but you flew your US flag. People were actually being cited by apartment complexes for flying the American flag while everybody else is flying their flags. Started taking stuff out of history books, started trying to rewrite history with, we're taking, the slave stuff out, or we're doing this, or his last 4 years went completely against everything that he set out on the first floor.
I mean, so to speak to that, here in the South, as I would hope is in the rest of the country, California excluded. Sorry, people, y'all got a reputation.
Look, my best friend's from California, and she'll tell you California fucked.
Yeah. In the South, we are proud of all of our history, whether it was from the slavery times, before that, anything after that. We are in the South, a very proud group of people. Okay. Like, there are people I can walk 5 minutes down the road that are flying stars and bars. My stars and bars are above my bed. Okay. Like, there are Black people that fly the stars and
I have an entire blanket
bars
down
here. Like, we are very proud, and it doesn't matter. Like, we are also very proud of our soldiers because, and this was this was a thing in 2002 and 2003, and I can't remember the actual number of the statistic, but a lot of the soldiers that fight for this country come from here because their granddaddies were soldiers. It's a family legacy to go in and be a soldier, and to be told that you cannot fly the country that your family fought. My brother's a soldier. My grandfather was a soldier. His father, like it dates back. Okay. All of my mom's side of the family.
My entire family, my dad, my uncles, my brother, were all in the my nephew, hell, my grandson's going into the fucking armed forces. I'm the only one that did not go into military, and that was only because my knees at the time that I tried, they wouldn't pass because I had been in an accident, so I couldn't get in. And because of that, I was actually put on the list where if I ever tried, I would automatically be denied.
And that's fine. If you can't go fight for your country, that's perfectly okay, because there's still a fight that happens here at home, right? And please, nobody twist my words. If you are married to, have a brother, a sister, a dad, a granddad, whatever, that was in the service, you do some type of service. You don't do the service, but you do some type of service, because supporting that person when they come home is so important. And to be told that you can't fly the flag that your brother, your mother, your grandparents, it doesn't matter who, fought for, is ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Look, you look at the homeless rate.
Disgusting.
Look at the homeless rate. 90 fucking % of homeless is American vets.
Mm-hmm. So here in Knoxville, where I live, down like not even 5 minutes. It depends on that. 5 minutes down the road, there is a homeless shelter. In the area of Knoxville that I live in, there are more homeless people here than anywhere else around here.
Oh, girl, look, you make it down here in Missouri, I'm gonna take you and your better half around. I'll show you these parts. I mean, we have literally, you can't go nowhere around here that you don't run into a homeless camp. You can't run, you can't throw a frisbee without running into a homeless person around here.
When I worked at the pool hall, you remember me working at the pool. The homeless people would come in and, hey, can I take your trash out for some French fries? Or I'm hungry. Can I get, and we would give them French fries. If they had money to pay for their food, they had money to pay for their food. But if not, you want French fries? Here you go. Here's your French fries. Please take your French fries. And the only thing we ask is you go eat them somewhere else. Not because we didn't want them there, but because sometimes I live in meth America. Look, let's be honest.
Look, there is no explanation. Look, it's plain simple fact. You're homeless. You ain't showering every day. You ain't got deodorant. You ain't got the shit that everybody else has to make you smell good. You're in a restaurant. You're in a fast food joint. You're in someplace doing food. It is not a bad thing that you give them fries and say, "Hey, I'll give you the fries. I'll give you a burger." The only thing I ask is that you go outside and eat it so it doesn't disrupt our customers. There's nothing wrong with that. And, most homeless people, look, I would rather sit down and talk to a homeless guy than talk to somebody in a fucking store.
Now, there's also a caveat to the homeless people thing, because I have ran into people who are purposefully homeless. They choose this because if they choose to be homeless, the government is less involved in their lives. They don't have to pay taxes. They can find cash only jobs because there are plenty enough landscaping companies and tree companies and all this other stuff that will pay you $9 on the hour to go rake some leaves.
So
I live in Meth America. Quite literally live in Meth America.
so on that, all right, look, yeah, I was homeless for fuck 3 years, 2 years, something like that. Uh, yeah, there are people that choose to be homeless. And I mean, honestly, okay, look, you talk about people that go to prison, they become institutionalized. All right. Why is it that they become institutionalized? Now,
Because they are beaten into submission
no, no,
mentally, physically.
no, it's not that at all. See, and I love the fact that, I love talking to people that have never been to a prison, never been to jail, jail, not an overnight cell in the drunk tank or a holding cell. I'm talking
Yeah.
you either go to fucking county jail or state, federal, but it's not the fact that they're beaten into submission mentally, physically, none of that. It is the same mentality as that homeless person that chooses to be homeless.
Yeah, because if you're in jail, you ain't got to pay no taxes. You
You
get
got
your three meals a
three
day.
meals, you get a bed, you ain't got taxes to pay, you ain't got none of this fucking shit out here to worry about. You ain't got to worry about being fucking, whether a girl's gonna fucking, okay, you do have to worry about whether a guy's gonna fucking shake you or come crawl in your bed and call you sweet thing.
Hey,
But
Bubba.
yeah, but you don't
You
have
got a
none of that.
party mouth.
And then, they get out and that's the only world they know. Well, it's the same thing with the homeless. They don't have to worry about all that shit. They've got what they need. They're getting what they need. They're surviving. Now, some of them take it and go a little bit too far because, some of them end up freezing to death or something out there because they just don't want to go to the shelter or because, but it says a lot for the way that
If
fucking we are as a society anymore.
if people look at their community,
KSOFD, most homeless in the South are drug addiction and HUD.
yes,
And HUD will not allow them in Section 8 or public housing.
that is true.
I look, and
Now,
I fully 100%
the
stand by
jail,
that.
the homeless people thing. If you anywhere in this country, anywhere in the country, you can look and see. If you were to get a graph and see like inmate population kind of goes down a little bit, as opposed to the wintertime where inmate population goes up, because the homeless will purposefully commit crimes to go to jail. So they have 3 somewhat warm meals a day, a halfway decent egg pad to lay on, and possibly a pillow. And then come summertime, they get out because they can sleep outside, whatever. 7-time felon. I'm the ex-wife of a felon. He has been to prison. And I mean, I understand kind of what it's not what it's like to be in there, but to be associated with somebody that's been in there. And in Connecticut, they have this school, and I'm not going to name the school for reasons because I don't want to get sued. But there's 2 types of this school. There's one for the actual special needs people who are in wheelchairs, can't speak, things like that. And then there's another type of school that goes by the same name. They don't teach these kids how to do anything. Okay? Like you walk in there, you have to change into their clothes that they want you to wear, which is usually like a set of scrubs, the tennis shoes. They teach you, there's a class on how to boost cars. There's all kinds of stuff. And they don't teach you how to be a proper member of society. They teach you how to be an inmate.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I've seen it in Colorado. They will commit crimes, put them in jail for 6 months, and do straight time versus probation. That happened. You'd be surprised on how much that happens.
It happens a
and
lot, actually.
and a lot of it is homeless. But back to the the institutionalized thing.
Do
I
we
had a
know who
buddy.
this person is?
I do not know who KS40MD
Because they
is,
seem
but
very inside.
yeah,
Welcome to the chat.
yeah, no shit. No, I had a buddy that got out of prison, served 20 years in prison for beating a dude to death. Got out, was out 3 days, literally 3 days. We were driving down the road. We stopped at a stoplight. A cop pulled up next to me. My buddy looked at me and he says, I can't do this shit no more. I'll see you in 20. Got out the car, opened up the cop door and punched the cop in the fucking jaw. And then laid down on the ground, put his hands behind his back.
Because
The
he is
cop got
institutionalized.
the cop got out. He says, what the fuck are you doing? He says, I can't make it. Put me back in jail.
Okay, so I think it was Shawshank Redemption with Morgan Freeman, and they're like in the prison and he like carves in the wall behind the poster. Okay.
Yeah.
And the old guy that was in the library, and he had been in the jail for so long he was like freaking out because he was getting out, and then he ended up like, kind of himself. And that's really a thing.
It is. It really is a thing. I mean, they will
That
literally.
really is a thing.
I have watched them put people in fucking suicide watch because they are really fucking afraid, of getting the fuck out because they don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. They have no fucking clue on how to be productive in society. And I mean, look, as much as we dig on schools and we dig on government, I'm gonna dig on fucking
We're fucked as
prisons.
a society.
Look, I'm gonna dig on prisons because you know what? They're in a prison out there. They ain't out for the fucking money. They want to do everything they can to keep your ass there
They're
or
all
bring your
government
fucking
funded.
ass. No, that is the problem. Because of the way that fucking economy has fucking went over these last fucking 15 years, you actually have more prisons, federal prisons, state prisons that are run privately than there are publicly.
Well, okay. So in that aspect, I think there are different. Speaking on a federal prison level, right? So you've got like the federal prison for like the schmurderers, the people that unalive the other people.
Yes.
And then you've got like the white collar where like Jeffrey Epstein was going to because or like Diddy's gonna go to kind of thing. Like he's not gonna be put in there with like the other people. Listen, KS40MD. There are prisons in other countries, like in Germany. I think they treat like their prison is an apartment building, and it's you and one other person that live in this apartment building, and you're taught how to go shopping. You're taught how to, actual life skills. And Germany's probably a really bad example giving their history, but they treat their inmates better than we treat any homeless person on the road. Like,
look, that is the thing. Growing up, we was always taught, the U.S. is fucking, mega powered. The U.S. is a leader for other countries. Where the fuck did that go? Because look, we all know our history.
Yeah.
I smoke. I did drugs. I vape now. I breathe better. I fucking live better. Here, vaping's fucking bad. All this shit is bad. The way that we treat fucking, the prisoners are treated. Prisons are ran. It's all fucked up. Go to Europe. Go anywhere over in Europe, the Netherlands, fucking the way that they treat their people, whether they fuck up or not. I mean, vaping
There's
in hospitals over there, that's what they use to fucking quit smoking is vaping. Like you were saying, some of the prisons over there, they set you up to become
a successful
purposeful
member of
citizen.
society.
Yes,
Now,
we don't because we look at money. Prisons here look at money. How much money can we make off this person? Yeah, even if they are privately owned, they still have government funding to them, and they still have to go by government, regulations and shit. But it's too much of a business.
I was talking to this girl at work about, so her brother is a juvenile, okay, and he was doing something very bad. He was throwing rocks off a bridge onto the interstate, hitting semi trucks. Okay, mass casualty. That's a whole nother thing. And then we got on the topic of, and Joe, I don't know if you've seen a blurb about it, about the guy in North Carolina that was given the 3 options because he was on death row. He could have either been lethal injected, electrocuted, or he death by firing squad. The government gave him these choices of how do you want to go, and he said lethal injection, then people suffer. He like murdered his girlfriend and her person, I don't know. And he's like, lethal injection, you suffer because basically you suffocate to death. The electric chair, we all know how we suffer with that. And death by firing squad. And that's what he chose. And then there are people that turn around and they're like, well, why did the government give him this option? That's cruel and unusual punishment, blah, 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 blah. The government of North Carolina gave him an educated decision on what he wanted.
Look,
it was simple. Here's your options. Here's my decision.
Look, feel good that you have options, because you know what I would say? Look, if you commit a crime so bad that you're going fucking death row, and that's it. There is no way you're getting off of death row. You shouldn't be given an option of how you die. And here's why. If you went and murdered tortured somebody and murdered them, guess how you should die? You should be tortured and murdered.
I believe in quartering. Just to put that out there, I believe that we should go back to the old way of quartering. And if you don't know what quartering is, each one of your limbs was tied to a horse, and that horse was smacked on the ass and sent to run in 4 different directions, and you were pulled the fuck apart. Pedophiles, there you go.
Look, now there are some look, pedophiles I think should be just, but I where I say that they should die the way that they made their victims suffer, when it comes to like a pedophile that's went that far, I think you just chop the shit off and fucking let them suffer on death fucking row until they fucking die on their own.
Nah, I think you should just cut them off, tie them to a chair, cut them off, cut whatever it is.
Because I mean, I really can't
and
say.
Let them.
I can't say eye for eye on that one because I'm not. Eye for eye would mean that the child would have to do something, but it's just.
And it all goes back to the mental health thing. The government is so ready to fund, food stamps and cash assistance and all that stuff, but there's a mental health aspect that the government is not funding, because mental health is still such a taboo thing to talk about. It's taboo to say that, hey, I'm on antipsychotics.
Well, not so much anymore. I mean, look around. Look around, girl.
It depends on where you are.
Look around. No, honestly, with the internet, no. It is
with
so
a wood
wide.
chipper. Yes. I don't know who this person is, but we need
I love them. Oh,
we need to talk to them. Yeah.
yeah. It's,
Please message one of us and let us know who you are. So
yeah, privately, we'll always keep your name. We'll always
yeah,
keep it like
we'll
you
keep
have on
everything
here.
private.
But we do like to know who in the hell we talk to because we will carry on conversations after shows and shit like that.
Yeah,
We
and
love
we
our
do like
viewers.
to interact with the chat and things because everybody gives a different perspective. I have a different perspective, have a different perspective, and we are accepting of all here to a point.
Hey,
Okay,
hey, look at the perspective that you listened to today while I was in my car.
Lisa, that needs its own comedy show. Okay,
It, that whole perspective on what we coming up. Yeah, that's a whole. But anyway, no, it's the, there's just too much fucking control anymore. It just is too much government control, not enough parent fucking control, not enough.
Joe, you already know who this is. Are we gonna play charades with the chat? Are we playing charades with the chat right now?
Um,
Okay, male or female?
I guess we're gonna play charades.
Cowboys Vapor? So male.
Hold on.
Young, old. Uh-oh.
Hello.
Joe, you have a stalker.
Hold on. I can't hear you. Hello. I'm live on YouTube. What's up? Yes, but I'm live on YouTube trying to figure something out. What is up?
Please pause for this commercial break.
Okay.
I was not.
If you're gonna leave at 11 and it's an 8-hour trip, it'll put you there at 9 o'clock. Or no, it'll put you there
Dustin.
7 o'clock.
Okay. Nice to meet you, Dustin. I was a war pig. I was part of the war pigs Willow chat.
Is this Dusty?
Yes.
Is this Cowboy Vapor? This is Cowboy.
I don't remember him.
Is this as in Cowboy and Liv? As in that Cowboy Vapor?
I'm sorry, honey. I don't know you. I was on Willow's stuff. I am the war flamingo. So
what time do you have to deliver? 8?
Okay.
You should already be on the road. Look. At 12 from 12 o'clock, 8 hours is 8 o'clock in the morning. So at 11 o'clock, 8 hours is 7 o'clock in the morning. If you leave at 11 o'clock,
I appreciate you coming into the chat.
Sorry, I'll be with y'all and just say my son's on the phone. And
okay,
Dustin, fuck, I know who you are now, and yeah,
just mute yourself, Joe. I'll end up talking to.
There. Are you on? Why can't you leave? Am I muted?
No. Yeah. Our tech support analyst, Joe. I mean, what do you want? Well, I appreciate you coming over and giving us some support and saying what we're over here talking about. We should be able to go live on my YouTube probably the next time we do this. It's actually called What You Wish You Could Say. A good friend of mine who can no longer do it anymore. And it's been a while, but I wanted to start doing this again because nobody may value my opinion, but I damn sure going to give it. So, and I figured Joe needed something to do. I finished my coffee, so now I'm on to my juice. I thought I heard something.
You did.
Oh, are you speaking to us from beyond the grave, Joe?
Yeah, I'm watching all you motherfuckers, and you're all fucked.
I have
Not
pants
every one of
on,
you
so
motherfuckers. Not every one of you motherfuckers.
I'm wearing pants, so we're good.
I muted the wrong fucking mic. I muted my desk mic, and I ain't even using the motherfucker.
Hopefully,
Anyway.
downtown doesn't flood, so we can protest the city county courts giving pedos and child abusers probation over prison.
I'm still
Sweetie, are you
here.
tapping awfully phone like 7 times?
What?
This dude spelled prison wrong like 7 times. He spelled probation correctly, though.
Who? Cowboy? Does he? Yeah. You
But
know, he can't type. He can't read or write either, so, you know, hey, it's all right.
I like how you tried to mute yourself and then was like, wait, am I muted?
Yeah. And I'm technical for the show. Can't even mute a goddamn mic that's, or fucking mic that's on my damn ear. What the fuck?
You about to have me pissing my pants?
Okay, so
Listen, we ain't protesting shit, okay? Listen, it is like 95 degrees down here during the day. I ain't going out and protesting nothing. I burn too easily. No, thank you.
he's actually not far from you. He's down in the south.
Oh, whereabouts there, honey bunch?
At least the last I remember, he was down in south, down around Kentucky or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think I know.
You do, and I'll explain when we get off air. You know exactly who this is.
Okay.
Because he was over on War Pigs too. You'll know. Anyway, with that being said, we are 46 minutes over what we have allotted. We are going to try to stick to an hour. We're not always going to do it. We are going to be running them Sunday nights. And I will be quitting no later than 11 o'clock on Sunday nights because I have prior Warframe gaming with Goat and Monster Man and stuff like that I do. And Burgundy over here, she got to get quality husband time before he goes to bed and so he can go to work. So with that being said, go to our pages. The easiest one's going to be if you go to the Panda page. If you want, we will be putting up a poll in there on what you would like for future conversations. May even work on some guests to stop by and give their opinions on some things.
I may be able to convince Willow to make a stop by, but that we'd have to really carve out some time for.
Yes, but I mean, we'll get it. But I really hope that you guys like what the hell we put on. You like what the hell we're going to be going to do. This will be mainly on Burgundy's YouTube channel, which it is pinned in the Panda page. You can also get mine. Like tonight, we are running off of my YouTube because her YouTube is fucked up because she hasn't used it in a while. If you're not
Goodbye,
part of it,
Richard. I don't know who you are, but goodbye.
Richard Yankee, what's up, brother? If you're not part of the Panda page, make sure you are. If you are not following Burgundy's page, which is, go ahead, Burgundy, because
What you wish you could say.
make sure that you go over there, go to it, give her a follow. Let's make this thing something that we can all be proud of, and we are gonna fuck you up. I don't give a shit who you are.
I will be making an actual What You Wish You Could Say Facebook page, so that way we're not flooding the pandas so much with everything. But for right now, just go to the panda page, look for it, comment on my post, comment on Joe's post, send us a private message, whatever you want to do. But in the next couple days, be looking for Facebook page, and it will be a private group. So, nobody under the age of 18, because we're all about protecting kids around here. Okay.
Yes.
And some of the things that we say are not for little
Let's be
ears.
honest. Let's be honest. Some of the things that we say
Neither one of us are for little ears.
are for fucking grown ass ears too, because some of them, I know fucking children that are fucking. Never mind.
But yes,
Oh,
so be looking
we're
out for that.
smarter than
I will
adults.
post a link on the Pandas page, and if you guys have any questions, anything like that, put it on the page. Send us a message, whatever you want to do. My YouTube page is up and going right now. Go ahead, give me a follow. Comment on one of my older videos. I don't care. Do what you want to do. If you find something that you really think that you want to hear our opinion about, let me know.
She is an admin in the Panda page, so she will see every posting that goes on. So if I don't, she will. My admins will. If you are new to the page, my admins have been instructed just to accept everybody. So the Panda Playhouse is exactly that. It is a playhouse for you to do what the fuck you want to do, post what the fuck you want to post. If you get Facebook banned, that's not on me. I will get Facebook banned, no problem.
Respectful space. We respect everybody's opinion because it's like an asshole. Everybody's got one.
Some choose to hide it. Some choose to hide it, but Anyway, with that being said, we love y'all. We will see you next Sunday night at 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock Joe's time, 10 o'clock my time. So if you're on the East Coast, it's going to be 10 o'clock. If you're in the middle of the country, you're going to be on Joe's time. So with that being said, y'all have a good night. And remember, always say what you wish you could say.